Good morning, Story Trading VIP. Sorry we're off to a late start and there's no camera. I don't know what is going on with my computer the last couple of days. It is freaking out. So it's real sorry about that. We'll have to figure that out. Anyway, today is a big day. There's lots of stuff going on. We're going to start with, we're looking at the Q and SPY, but today, 2 p.m., we have the FOMC meeting. Everyone's looking at, is it 0.75%? Is it going to be 1%? They're going to be dovish? Are they going to be hawkish? So all that's happening today. We'll talk about that in just a second. But also first, Putin put out a speech, a recorded speech, I guess late last night, U.S. time, basically saying they're going to ramp up their military efforts in Ukraine and threatening nuclear intervention if countries prevent them from, seizing parts of Ukraine and make it part of Russia. So that's caused, before we look at the major indices, that's caused a bump in oil and natural gas. And when you have geopolitical reasons for oil and natural gas going up, what you're also going to have, you can see XLE is up 1.5%. What you're going to have, especially with natural gas going up, is coal going up, because coal is going to be the replacement fuel for the winter in Europe. So that's BTU and ARCH. You also will have improved sentiment for uranium stocks. So that's URN. M is the ETF. UUUU, CCJ, DNN, small modular reactor, SMR. You could also see alternative energy names like TAN solar stocks going up today. The other thing you'll see going up is potash, fertilizer, which is MOS, CF, IPI. So all of that is happening geopolitically. Now, on top of that, 2 p.m., we're going to find out about interest rates. Now, I've been talking about the 200-week moving average, and at this point, my bet is that we're going to test this 200-week moving average no matter what. Not necessarily today. Some catalyst is going to come along, right? Whether it's they don't like what the Fed says today, or whether it's something tomorrow or next week. At this point, in my view, we're too close to this 200-week moving average not to test it. That's both on the QQQ and the SPY. And this, as you know, I've been talking about for a long, long time, is a very critical level. I think that's the best case scenario. Best case scenario is we test it, we bounce off it, maybe we briefly go below it, reclaim it. That's the best case scenario, and everyone knows what the bad scenario is, which everyone's been talking about, right? That major companies, they have like another 20% down to go. So that's also possible. So we have to see what happens here in the next few weeks and how the interaction with that 200-week moving average is. So I don't have any predictions for you today besides volatility. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Doesn't really change what I try to do at Story Trading, which is to look for stocks, individual stocks that may buck the market trend based on sentiment, catalysts, technicals, and fundamentals. So, with that, these sectors I pointed out, these might be buy the dip if you want to day trade them or something. You can look at those energy names, uranium names, potash names. Those are all pretty interesting. Now, specific stocks, FREY, that's the first one I'm going to bring to you, because this is a massive move this morning. The volume's already 570,000, up 8%. The volume yesterday was 1.1 million, day before 1.1 million. So we're already at 50% of yesterday's volume, and up here close enough to be maybe challenging the 52-week high today. It's 1492. So why is this moving? Well, I believe it's Morgan Stanley this time. It's not in the feed here, but Morgan Stanley apparently put out a note with a $60 potential price target in the most bullish case, in the most rosiest scenario. Now, I haven't seen that directly myself. I did see Morgan Stanley came out with a note 2 days ago that you can access on Seeking Alpha, or the summary of that note on Seeking Alpha, but no mention of a price target. Now, this morning on Twitter, I scoured Twitter, scoured stock tweets. All I found was one post with someone saying breaking news, Morgan Stanley put $60 price target in bull scenario. I'm guessing there's some truth to that, because you wouldn't be getting 570,000 volume and a move like this in FREY. So I have a small position in the other day in the 1450s. I did try to buy back here at 1379 this morning, and I just missed it. So we'll have to see how that goes. But this is a stock I think I may be interested in buying the dips today with this sort of volume. And if that price target is legit, if that actually happened for Morgan Stanley, then you should be able to get bounces off dips today, and that could be a good trade. So All right, a couple other things I want to point out to you. QUIK yesterday. So this is the one I pointed this out yesterday. I said, hey, this is getting into a good value because it looks like it wants to test the 200 DMA. It said that yesterday morning. It bounced off the 200 DMA to the penny. And after the close, we found out they did an offering, a direct offering, $6.57, I believe was the price, $3.2 million. Yep, $6.57. No warrants. No discounts at a premium to yesterday's close. So that's your signal. You got the 200 DMA bounce. You got the technicals. We have the fundamentals check, that caused us to go up 10 days ago or so. And now you have the catalyst of this deal coming through at a good price, 657. So I think this is going to bounce. You can see the bid already at 641. And your immediate target 680. I have a long-term position in this. Also, some trading shares. I sold a lot of my trading shares on that pop, but I still have some left. So I'm looking forward to a test of 680 relatively soon, and possibly thereafter 750 at the 50 DMA. So good news on QUIK. Other thing I want to point out, RUM, you guys all know where I stand on this. I think this is something you can buy the dips on. It's going to be hard to identify exactly where the bottom of that dip is, but any large sell-off, I think, will be met with a large pressure on buying and short squeezes. This is going to be a battleground stock for a long time. A couple bits of news on RUM. This morning, here we go. We got a note from D.A. Davidson. Rumble's audience seen expanding beyond conservatives, and they note that they're getting some traction with the political left and crypto enthusiasts, and also seeing an influx of Gen Z users. So that's all very good news for RUM. Also, I note they're expanding in terms of 5 or 6 new countries that they're launching the iOS app in. That was announced on their Twitter yesterday. Don't see a press release on that this morning yet, but it was on their Twitter that they're expanding to several more countries. So very interesting. If you follow the Rumble Twitter account, there's lots of updates that go out on the Rumble Twitter account that are, I think, important, market moving, that don't necessarily make it to press releases, or they get there on a delay. You get an advantage by following that Twitter account. So take a look at that. Okay, want to know DRIO at 4:30 p.m. We have our weekly collaboration meeting. I will be focusing on DRIO after their 2 contracts yesterday and after my discussion with management yesterday. I now again feel good about this stock. So I did average down yesterday. I'll be talking about those details at 4:30. Could the bottom be in? Maybe. I don't know. If the market tanks, you never know. It could go much lower if the market tanks. But I like what I learned yesterday, both through the press release and the conversation I had with management. So things are looking good, at least from my perspective right now for DRIO. A couple others want to keep an eye on. Well, ALTO has an interesting pre-market bid. I'm not sure why. Maybe because it's an ag. Maybe the ag sector's up on the Putin stuff, but this is the one we've been following. It's got like a W bottom. It's got some resistance here at the 20 DMA and the 50 DMA, $50 million buyback, $5 PE, nice chart pattern. So this one is something that could go today. Looks like it's getting ready for a MACD flip, so watch ALTO. HYRE yesterday on air, you saw I was anxious to sell at 155 to 160. I did end up selling 40% of my shares at 155 to 160, but unfortunately, I bought back in around 140, and then it just dove. We found out after the market what happened. Now, it was suspicious yesterday because the press release I had yesterday morning was just a regurgitation of the press release from September 6th. I was a little suspicious about that. Then in the morning, I was a little suspicious about this large bid that seemed to be pulled last minute. So I was concerned about manipulation even in pre-market. And then in the afternoon, when I saw this spike down from 120, I started putting a note in. I was starting to get more convinced that maybe there's an offering coming, that this looked like the pattern. I've seen this pattern many times. It looks like a pump, especially because that news was regurgitated. So you get this news, you have that big push in pre-market, then it dumps during the day. I'm like, I've seen this 1,000 times. And lo and behold, in after hours, we did get, wasn't really an offering. This was stuff that was already in place before, but what we got was there were 3 million or so warrants exercised at $1.03. So apparently, whoever held those warrants, I think they were pumping up the stock in the morning. Perhaps the company helped them with that PR because the company gets paid $1.03 when they exercise those warrants. to me, I think that's what happened yesterday. So definitely disappointing to see that type of apparent manipulation on HYRE, and it looks like it might have a floor at $1.03. You can see those at the warrant exercise price, right? They're not really selling anymore, so that's another clue that that's exactly what happened yesterday. So we'll have to see what happens here. Maybe it gets back into that 125 range, and I really don't like what management did there in cahoots with those warrant holders, so I might just bail if we get back to 125 on my remaining shares. All right, continue to watch SEEK. SMSI was down this morning. I don't know why. There was no news. It was an opportunity, I guess, for people who want to get some cheap shares. It may have just been one person who needed to sell. You get those kind of dislocations and market inefficiencies in extended hours. So, all right, that's all we got. Still monitoring VTSI on that nice break. We talked about this yesterday. All the pillars are aligned. It's a nice story trade opportunity from here for a 7 to 750 price target. And that's all we got. So going to be a super volatile day between the geopolitical stuff in Russia and the interest rate decision at 2 p.m. Lots of opportunities here. Man, FREY, I feel like, I'm so pissed off at FREY. I really knew this news was good, and I didn't want to chase it. Something, when you chase it, it's the wrong decision. And when you hold back, you're like, damn, should have chased it. But whatever, that's what happened. So what did I have? 1379 order, didn't fill. Hopefully we'll see a drop in the morning, but this volume is massive, and I think it's really set up nicely to have a great day over here. So, all right, guys, good luck, everyone. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll try to work that out, and we're going to be meeting at 4:30 p.m. to discuss DRIO and whatever else you want. It's an open collaboration session. All right, so we'll see you there on Zoom. Look for that link in the VIP announcements room. Take care. Have a good day.